You, my investor friends, this is Lucas here, of course, today. And in today's video, I want to talk to you about one cool thing, which is the why power. Now, all the investors, if you ask a random investor, and of course, I'm not talking about random investors as in unsuccessful ones, but especially those successful ones. If you're a successful investor, there's always one thing we all have in common: the why power. The why power. If you don't have a why power, if you don't have a very good reason for you yourself, if you don't have a very good why reason to do all this, to be investing, you know what might happen? And this is the very thing that happens very often. If your why power is not strong enough, what happens is that at some point, at a breaking point, when the market is crashing or when the market is peaking, the moment there is a breaking point, what happens is that your why power, if it's not good enough, if your why power, if your reason for doing all this, if it's not good enough, what will happen is that you will give in and that your emotions take over. That's always the case. So this is why I always start teaching first. The first thing is, what is your why power? The why power is so important. Now, if you ask me, Lucas, what is your why power? The first reason I always start out is, as a joke, I always start out as a funny way. Because, I like fun. I like having a little bit of fun. If you would ask me, Lucas, what is your why power? I always tell my friends and colleagues and everybody, if I'm acquainted with you, I will tell you, my why power is I want to be retired on the age of 40. 40 years old, and I'm going to be retired. Am I going to sit at home and do nothing? I always say yes. That's the cool way. But that's not my why power. My why power is that I want to give and teach my own children how financially free and how financially freedom actually works. And you got to work for it. And I want to teach them that, and I want them to teach their own generations after that as well. That is for me so important, that why I've created this for myself in the past decade and created my own success. Now, like I mentioned in the title as well today, I'm going to talk about some numbers today. Now, I'm not the numbers guy. I'm not the perfect guy in numbers, but I do like to check them out very much. Now, the interesting thing is, so your why power needs to be there. If you don't have a why power that is so strong, that goes through generations, and I don't care if it's right or wrong. It's not about that. It's not about being right or wrong. It's about what you believe in. Your why power needs to be so strong, and everything can be possible. Now, because in today's video, what I'm going to talk about is what is your income and how do you decide what you can invest and how does it all work? Because people have reached out to me. Now, I have some other investors who already do this. They say like, hey, Lucas, I make a list, and you know what? I'll share my list with you. Now, this is a very nice list. I always say, how much income do you have? Now, if there are two of you or if you're alone, that doesn't really matter. So what I would always say is, so what is the income? So how much do you get in? Now, for this calculation, I'm going to use a one-person's household. You're just saying that you're a one-person's household, not saying that all the things that you have, you might be married, I don't know, you might get a lot of income, I don't know as well. But you're just going to start off with a general person, with a one-income person. So, and let's pretend that you get $2,000. I don't know in your country how much that is, but if $2,000 is rather average, is rather average in our country, in the Netherlands. So having an income of 2,000 euros, and that's after taxes already. So you're making a nice average income if you're by yourself or one person household. Now the first thing is, I'm going to use red because this is going to be deducted. You have a house, and your house takes, like I always said, it could be rent or it could be mortgage, depending on how you want to see it. It takes money out of your pocket, which is most of the cases, around $500. Now, if you think like, hey, but my house is far more expensive. Well, maybe most likely you're living above your standards. Either that's one, or two, you did a wrong deal in the bank and your mortgage is really high. Now, I'll tell you this, I have a above average sized home. So my home is slightly bigger than the average. If you check out the average homes in the Netherlands is about 140 square meters. I don't know how much that is in foot, so I can't tell you that. But 140 square meters. My home is almost up to 200 square meters. So yes, my home is bigger than the average. Yeah, so I pay slightly more than this as well. Okay, so what you have is you've got rent or mortgage, which is about $500. And what they always say, you know, like the gas, electricity, and water is about 1/10 of the price, which is about $50 per month. Okay, so we're talking about per month. Now you've got insurances, and insurances are also similar, but they're slightly, you know, around $30 per month, which is just general insurances. This is what normal people tend to pay. Okay, and then we've got maintenance, you know, because things might happen. Now, I'm not saying that every month something happens, but you do build up a little bit of a pot of money, which is around 25 euros, which is kind of normal. I don't know how that works in your country. I don't know what country you're from when you're watching this video. Hey, post that in the comments what country you're from, because I'm kind of curious of what country you're from. Yeah? Okay, so, and the next thing what happens is, of course, the taxes. Now, you have all kinds of taxes on your home and such, and that is around 20 euros, which is a very common number, which is not that much, but these are, you know, in the rent, of course, we have already included tax. But these are just random taxes that you already, you know, have them lying around. Now, we've got also stuff like internet, you know, the just usage. I don't know about, you know, how much that is in your country. In our country, internet is not that expensive, around $10 per month. You got a nice contract already. Now, if you want to have glass fiber or you want to have super fast internet, it's maybe $30 per month. There's not a huge difference. Okay. Now, any other costs that about 5 euros per month. Well, you know, this is just putting money aside. Okay. Now, I don't know how much credit card debt you have in the Netherlands. It's not really common to have a credit card because we've got something called a debit card. We've got something called a PIN card. You just, you know, if you have money on your bank account, you can just put your card in and it just takes money out of it. You don't really have a credit card. It's not very common to have credit card debt in our country. I don't know, in your country, most likely you do have credit card debt, which is very normal as well. Don't know about that. Let me know about that as well, of course. And car loans in the Netherlands, you don't really see very often that families really take on a certain loan to buy a car. Because the moment the car is too expensive, people tend to buy a cheaper second-hand car. That's very common in the Netherlands. So I'm not going to list those here. Now, what other costs do we do have? Of course, we have fuel, because Dutch people tend to drive a lot. Our country is a small country. The Netherlands is a small country. And, you know, the moment you live in a certain town, you want to go somewhere else, it's very common to take the car and go from the one end to the other, depending, of course, where you live. Now, if you live in cities, the big cities like Amsterdam, Rotterdam, of course, it's kind of common that people don't even have a car there because, you know, all the facilities are nearby within biking distance. Yeah. Okay. So therefore, fuel I would take, you know, maybe around $100 per month because people tend to drive a lot, and otherwise public transport. Oh, public transport, which could, you know, last around $25 because people do tend to take the bus or the train, which is very normal. And I could just, you know, this would be an average on a monthly basis, okay? And then on the other end, of course, we've got groceries. And groceries, you know, what I tend to, a normal person would tend to use maybe around somewhere between 100 and 140 euros per month, which is quite a lot already, you know, for a one-person's household, which is not too bad. Now, as I always say, you have an education cost. This doesn't have to be that you're doing an education right now. It could also be paying off your education. As I don't know about your country. Let me know about your country if you have to pay up any debt or anything. In the Netherlands, you would have to take a certain loan from the government, which, you know, they don't charge you any interest rate, which is very good. You can loan up to, I don't know, like maybe 80K or something over the 4 years that you're doing your certain education. But you do have to pay off your education, which is done over 30 years. So, which is a very great loan, of course. And paying off your education loan would be somewhere around $25 per month. And in the Netherlands, we also like to sport, and most of the Dutch people have a sports, contract. I always, you know what I always call these people? I call these people donations. You know, they have a certain contract with a sports center or a fitness center, and the first month of the year, most likely in January, they've got all these commercials and ads saying like, you know, you gotta lose weight this year, you gotta start right now. If you start right now, you get your first month off, or you get a free sports bag, or you get a free clothing set, or you know, they always drag you in. And then the rest of the year, you know, the first month you're gonna go there very often. Yes, and then the rest of the year you're just being a donator. You're just paying, but you're not gonna go. Okay. Okay. So, and other hobbies, of course, we've got people who've got hobbies, and you got to pay for hobbies as well, which is around maybe $30, depending on what kind of hobby you have. But this is general numbers. Okay. So this is healthcare, of course, just like other healthcare. Maybe products, maybe stuff that you need. That could be around $20 in this case. Now we've got, having dinners. You know, if you want to go out, have dinners with your friend, which is very common. And in the Netherlands, you can go out and have dinner for rather a meal, maybe 10 or $20, but you could also make it more fancy and pay like $50 per time. Now, as an average number, make it $70, which is a few average meals out, eating out, which is just totally fine. And then, of course, we've got the clothing, which is maybe around $50. Again, you're not buying clothes every month, but it's like a pot that would make a general pot as well. Okay. I don't know about you guys. If you have pets or anything, but pets also cost money. I don't have any pets because I just don't have them. My why doesn't include any pets. It doesn't. But this is in general, as in the Netherlands, they would always say a dog is a man's best friend. And in the Netherlands, that's really true. I don't know about your country, but in our country, when people walk outside and a dog poops, we got those litter bags. You can pick up your dog's poop. Man, I may be a dad of 3 kids, but I don't tend to pick up their poop. I don't know about your country, but I don't, okay? The next thing is gifts. I don't know if you do gifts, for other people, but I tend to do. And you could also put this as gift donations, $15 per month, which is not a bad thing. And of course, charity. Always very important not to forget the people who need things. Do you do charity? Absolutely, you should. I always believe that charity is where it starts. If you start out young and believing you should give away a little bit of your own money, it starts the feeling of giving. If you can't think of giving, if you're only thinking of grabbing all the time, I think there's seriously something wrong with you. There's always something, you always have to start giving. If you don't start giving, nobody else is going to give you. That is also very important why. I do this for my own family. I do this also so I can help my parents out. I do this also for my own kids. I do this also for my uncles, cousins, nephews, nieces. All those people in my family are very important. So my why is also about giving. Now, if you add up this all, you'll see that, I'll write it with a different color. You'll see that the total number, and I just did a quick calculation, is 1,150. Now, if you take a look at the income over here, you'll notice that the average person is able to save up about $800 per month. 850 actually. Now, $800 per month in a year time, that's almost 10,000 euros. 10K per year in savings. And according to the Central Statistics Bureau of the Netherlands, this is the amount of an average Dutch person that can save in a year time. Now think about it. You can save 10K a year. If you can save up 10K a year, and if you think, if these are all my expenses and this is my income, You got one green number on the list, and you've got over 10 of these in red. Now, having these numbers in red is totally fine, but you really got to think of a way to make all these numbers in red pay themselves back. That should be your why. If your why is not making up for all these red numbers, if you still have to work for the $2,000 per month yourself, then this is never going to change. You will always have to keep on working to pay off all the red things that you want to make life a great thing. This is, if you don't understand this, if you don't understand this why, that there's a lot of red and you have to pay for it yourself by exchanging your time for money. If you don't get that, then I understand that you're always in this situation that you have been, and that you're not going to change. And this is a serious thing. Now you should think about ways to increase this, and not by working more. Working more is just spending more time in this and having less time to do this. Do you see where I'm getting at? You should find a different way to get another income. Now, if you could, now I'm not telling you. So the first thing is, of course, the emergency pot. This is all the saving you have. Now let's pretend that we have, maybe 1 or maybe 2 months. You'll take 4K off, so 4,000, that's your emergency pot. The remaining 6,000 euros, or $6,000, you can invest in stocks. And 6,000 euros is already $500 per month. If you start out with $500 per month in investing, and with the method that I have, that I'm teaching, you can get at least 8% of return on investment. 8%. Well, I'm not going to do that calculation anymore because this video is already very long today. But this is what an average person with $2,000 in an average household can save up. With only $2,000 per month, this is what you can do. This is a one-person's household. Now, if there are 2 of you, it's not going to be double right away. It's going to be double income maybe. But the outgoing is not completely double because, you have some costs to share as well. Because your house is not going to be double. And your insurance is not going to be double. But yes, the usage of water and electricity is going to be higher. Yes, I get that. But if you just calculate this, if you just take a look, the amount that you can save and the amount that you can keep in your investment is far more than you always think. But I have not listed. You know why this is possible? You know why this number? There's one reason why. I'll tell you what. If you take a very careful look, I've never written down the word holiday. Like I said, if you understand your why, things like a holiday, sometimes you just have to take off the list. This is a monthly payment. Haven't added the holiday. Haven't added the holiday tab. You know why? I don't need to go on a holiday because for me, I divide my time correctly that I can enjoy every day as a holiday. And you can do as well. But you have to calculate. But you have to make a structure. You have to think, what is your why? If your why is not big enough, you'll think, you know what? I think I need a holiday. I can't do this anymore. I need a holiday. Honey, let's go on a holiday. Let's spend the 10K that we already saved up together. And that's how people let their emotions take over. And it's too bad. And I do understand that people will always have to keep on working to keep achieving all the things that they want in red. I don't know about you. Think about it. What is your why? Let me know your why in the comments down below here. Hey, and of course, if you like this very much, be sure to check out more of this stuff on my channel, on my website as well. I'm teaching a course called Grow Your Money that will let your money grow with at least 8% per year. If you're interested, check out my website, lukasshoe.com/GYM. Grow your money. And of course, I'll see you there. Thank you very much for watching today's video. And be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. I love to see more subscribers. And of course, I'd love to share more content like this with you. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you very much.